Class, okay, so now that we've finished up figuring out what Rhonda's federal income tax withholding is, let's finish her net pay so we can go on to the next example. So we're going to start by taking her gross wages. We're going to subtract out the Social Security, Medicare that we calculated up from above, Social Security and Medicare. And then we're going to subtract out her federal income tax withholding to get what her final net pay is. Okay, so we're all done with Rhonda. And the last thing I want to do, just for comparison, is I want to look at this other situation that we looked at, which has lower withholding. Okay, so we do the same thing. We take this taxable income of $1,126 and we look at where that falls in our table. So 1,126 is over this amount of 1,040, but it is not over 3,212. So notice it's a different formula than the one we just used. It's 70/90 plus 15% of the excess over 1,040. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this over to the other screen so I can write the formula out as a math formula. Okay. So it is 70/90 plus 15% of the excess. So we're going to take this taxable income, 1,126.20, of the excess over 1040. Now, just like we did before, we're going to start with what is in parentheses first. That gives us our excess over 1040. 86.20. Okay, so that's the difference between these two. Then we're going to multiply that by 0.15, 1293. And then we're going to add it to 70/90, 83/83. So notice in this next example that we did, there was a higher amount being taken out of this person's paycheck as opposed to Rhonda. In Rhonda's situation, at a withholding of 3, they only took out $48.76 for federal income taxes being withheld, which means she had more left over after she was all done. The other person, and let's assume everything else is the same. Let's figure out the next situation's net pay. Oops. Okay, so in this example, there would be lower net pay of $1,098.25. And it makes sense because in this situation, they were withholding at a lower rate, and that resulted in going to a higher taxable income bracket, basically, within the federal income tax withholding table. And so notice over here, Rhonda got multiplied by 10%, but this other situation went to a higher bracket at 15%. Okay, so it started to increase so that they could take out more out of this person's paycheck than what we did for Rhonda. So Rhonda had higher withholdings, and therefore she had higher net pay or higher disposable income for every check as opposed to this other situation that we looked at. Okay, sorry it took 3 different tries on this video. There are a lot of little interruptions that kept happening, and I didn't want to record the entire thing. But at least now you guys can see it in snippets, and you can see the entire thing from start. I hope this helps you. I know this can be a complicated chapter. The hardest part is learning, really, I think, how to use Table 9.2 and converting what you're reading into a math formula, okay? But I would suggest practicing in this order and maybe practicing just a few of these also. And as usual, please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, you guys.